Good morning. This is TCR, TroyCommunityRadio.com. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TCTV. It's time for the Mayor's Report, and with me this morning is Mayor Michael Beamish. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Clint, and good morning, David. Good morning, all the listeners out there in Troy Community Radio area, and it's a wonderful day.
Well, we made it through the Easter weekend.
Boy, it was a nice, I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter. Remember there's a reason for the season. And
absolutely.
But beyond that, it's a good time. Things are blooming. Things are coming alive.
Oh, all the flowers up through the flower beds and tulips blooming and daffodils. And
it's a wonderful time. Spring is sprung, and now we head into the season, spring, summer, fall, and there's lots of activities going to be going on.
Thunderstorms, warm weather.
We do have all the kinds of weather.
Well, you had some council subcommittees. Council didn't meet, but still, it kept you busy this week.
Wow, I will say, it seems like we had one night where almost every council member was involved in at least one of the subcommittees that are assigned by President Marty Baker, and they had work to do. Now, they'll see the efforts of that work come on the agenda for City Council, which meets Monday on April 4th at 7 o'clock in City Hall. We may want to say that one more time, but many of the items there are dealing with, I'll just tell you, the Personnel Committee, that's Mr. Terwilliger, Mr. Kendall, and Mr. Twist. They met. They're talking about some organizational internal changes, not high cost, but just some switching around. One of them will be to move some positions of planning and zoning inspector, zoning manager from the office that was in the engineering department, moving it to the Department of Development.
Okay.
It just seems to be a better fit.
Shifting what department it falls under.
Yep. And then by combining that, they'll be going from one assistant development director to two, and that'll help us because economic development is our number one priority. So we're trying to put, so to speak, eggs in one basket.
Okay.
The other thing was we are looking at, with all the renovations and activities that are going to be going on at the Hobart Arena, we're looking at creating a new position of program coordinator that will be under the auspices of the Recreation Board, but it has to go through council. And by the way, all those three items from the Personnel Committee will move forward with a positive recommendation to full council.
Okay.
Finance Committee did meet, and that's our chair is Mr. Kendall, and Mr. Swayzer and Mr. Tremblay are on that Finance Committee. They were looking at an agreement, a loan agreement that was approved in 2014 for West Tool and Machine. It's a small business. They had a small business development loan. They want to refinance that in a primary commercial loan. So to do that, that'll require some emergency legislation so that they can do that as quick as possible. That's a positive development tool, but the Finance Committee is supporting that to move forward to council on Monday's agenda. Utilities, they met. That's the chair of that is Mr. Tremblay, and Mr. Terwilliger and Mr. Twist are a part of that committee. And that's looking at a couple of things, just some replacement of equipment associated with the primary clarifiers that we in the water treatment.
Okay.
And then they also are looking at Miami Valley Communications Center as our consultant, procuring the best competitive retail electric provider for electric generation and transmission of supply services. Sounds like that's way over my head, but bottom line is they're getting the best deal, bang for the buck. And then part B of that was allowing the Director of Public Service and Safety to execute the agreement for electric generation and transmission supply services that are competitive retail pricing. So we discussed that, the committee discussed that, and they'll move that forward to the agenda for council on Monday night. Recreation and parks, we kind of skirted that, but we're getting close to Troy Strawberry Festival time.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of planning, a lot of organization, knowing what each entity is going to be doing. So we're entering into an agreement with the Chamber of Commerce, the Troy Strawberry Festival in the city of Troy, all related to what the 2016 Strawberry Festival is going to be all about. I will just tell you, it'll be very similar to last year.
Okay.
We'll use downtown. We'll use part of the levee. Same blueprint. It worked. It was a good year, and for the most part, it'll just be about the same kind of an agreement that we've had in the past.
I like the blueprint because it makes it so much more accessible for the handicapped, seniors, strollers.
There's a lot of good things. Now,
yes.
Brock Heath, Mr. Heath is the chair of that committee with Mrs. Oda and Mr. Tremblay on that committee. So they discuss that. They'll move that forward for approval of full council. The last committee, and I told you about every committee met, Streets and Sidewalks Committee met, and that's Mr. Phillips is the chair. Mr. Heath's on that committee, Mrs. Sneeze on that committee. And that's all the roadway projects that are going to be done during the 2016 paving program. And that includes working out an agreement with the Miami County Commissioners for paving of McCaig Road from 718 to South Dorset. We have to, work out an understanding of repayment, reimbursing the city for the paving of the unincorporated areas. But we also have certain streets that are going to be in the project. So, and then, of course, the McCaig resurfacing project that we've talked about, going from the railroad track now up to, I believe, Summit Street.
Now, will they do that the same way that they did the
same way?
It all comes out.
Yeah, when they come, it'll be an inconvenience, but when you get done, you got all the infrastructure put back together. If you drive down on the new surfaces on McCaig, you could see pretty well done.
It's beautiful.
I'm very, very pleased with the workmanship. I drive that all the time, and it's smooth. The neighbors, if they had to do some digging and tearing out, they've replaced that. It looks really good.
New sidewalks, the new curbs. Like you said, they widened it. Did they widen it just a little bit?
It looks like that.
It looks like that. But yeah. I know in some of the yards I've seen small retaining walls that were put in. So what the city did, it just looks amazing.
And that's the kind of style that we're going to go up and down on McCaig with the projects in phases, and just say, so we'll be doing the next phase, and that's all part of the project. But again, Streets and Sidewalks Committee met to discuss those issues, and they'll move that forward with a positive recommendation to full council.
All right.
A lot of business going on.
A lot
this
of business
past week.
going on. And again, council will meet on Monday.
April 4th. I can't believe we're into April already, but it's moving on, and you can see it. And the trees are starting to bud and bloom, and flowers coming up, and sooner or later we'll see the fountain back on downtown.
I'm
I know
anxious
that's a big
to
thing.
See that. With
we're going to lose
flowers.
our monumental statue.
Yeah,
the Lincoln
talk about
statue.
moving on. He got a bath on Monday, and
did.
Next Monday he's going to jump on a truck and.
He's all cleaned up, and they're looking at the weather permitting. April 4th will be the day, and that'll be on Monday. You'll start to see our guy wave goodbye. But, boy, he spent a lot of time in Troy, Ohio, USA. But when that leaves, we will also then begin downtown, getting that shaped up for the beautiful spring and summer season.
Well, I know in the past week I've already seen some of the ladies out working the flower beds around the fountain and on the corners of the square. So I anxiously await, as not that downtown Troy isn't beautiful year round, but to get to see the colors and the flowers back again in the fountain.
It's just, things come alive, and that's the time of the year that we're in, and be activities, events on Proudy Plaza, We're going to stretch those out. Now we'll also have events and activities off of Treasure Island Park. And so if you're a person that even visits Troy, there's going to be something this spring and summer and fall season for you.
Well, the entertainment that is brought into town, it brings a lot of people in from outside the community. And while they're here, they're spending money.
That's right. It really does have an economic impact as we go through, not only for the downtown, but all of our outreach areas and
Restaurants
businesses.
and
Right.
businesses, stores. We've been talking about, now the city of Troy does have a spring cleanup that is going to be coming up in the near future.
We do, and that allows me to at least talk a little bit again about being a part of a community is working together for the betterment of that community. And our street crews work very hard. And, you know, every season is a different season. We have the fall season where we do lots of leaf pickup, and we do the zones throughout the city.
Well, the leaf cleanup in the fall, they make more than, it's 3 trips around the entire city to collect
Right.
leaves.
And they have to use certain equipment to make that happen. And it's the same trucks and same people doing this. So they do that in the fall. In the winter, we put the plows on and we do the salting and we do those things. Now, we did have a mild winter, which is great. But now we're into the street projects, as we've just talked about, and some of the other basic things that we do with recycling and trash pickup. And like I said, some of the just surface paving projects, patchwork projects from the winter season. But I go back to community, and that's us working together. When I say us, that's you, myself, all of us. And we do have a couple of, I think, features that many communities don't have. One of those is we do, as we do in the fall with the leaf pickup, we have an annual spring cleanup. And that's going to take place in April. It's April 11th that's the week of the April 11th through the 15th. And what that means is if you have some extra things you want to put out that we will, in terms of trash and large items and things you've wanted to get rid of.
Really cleaning out the garage, the deep clean, empty the basement.
We'll take extra bags on that week only, and that's called our spring cleanup week. Sometimes that's misunderstood a little bit because we're talking about trash pickup, large item pickup, and those things just to help, again, our citizens. But the same street crew is doing it. We don't hire extra people.
Right. It's not a different team that goes out.
It's the same group. But we'll do that for that week to help people as they prepare for the summer. But we also, and I'm proud to say this, we also have that dye mill facility. You know, we opened it early this year because we've heard people say, well, I've got these piles of leaves, or I've got these things I want to discard. And the dye mill facility is open. It's open at different times to allow different people with different work schedules to get out there, but they can take those items to the dye mill facility free of charge if they live within our incorporated area of Troy. They can take that and discard those items. That's a service that I'm real proud to say we offer here in Troy. There's some other things. So now you got the spring cleanup, the extras. You got the dye mill facility open now. Different times of each day of the week. Monday and Friday is 11 to 7. Tuesday, Thursday is 3 o'clock to 7. You can see trying to adjust hours to accommodate people who have working schedules. Saturday is a good day. That's a 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Most people have Saturdays open. And that can be, you can take things to
hours like that. It even gives you a chance to sleep in on Saturday morning, and you can still get up. And
right. We do close on Wednesday and Sunday.
Right.
That allows us to reset and and get ready for the next day. Also, as I drive around town, and I do, you know, we've had some weather and sticks have fallen down out of trees. It really helps us if people could bundle those sticks. Just tie it with twine or yarn or whatever they can tie it with, but in bundles, like no longer than 4-foot strips. And that way, when the guys come pick up their trash, they can grab that bundle, throw it in the back of a truck. May have to come back later to do that, but it's easy to grab, throw, and go.
Right.
So I ask everybody to help us with that. Putting the sticks in 4-foot lengths, bundling it.
Bundle it up. If you can pick it up and carry it to the street in a bundle,
You'll get it.
Yeah, they'll get it. They're not out like they are in leaf collection time.
Right.
With pickup, with the
big blowing machines, the
vacuum, and that's in fall. This is kind of people need to work a little bit and put things in tea bags or bundle up their sticks.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. And if we go back to fall, even then we've asked people to separate.
Bundle, yes.
Yeah, to separate the sticks from the leaves and the other debris, so that it makes it easier for us, and so it doesn't mess up the equipment. We always bring Jerry Mullins, or our street foreman, in here to kind of give us a little summary of what to do to help. But this is spring, and a lot of times we do have leftover things in the yard. So if they can bundle those sticks, that helps. If they have loose leaves and things, since we don't have the equipment to pick up the leaves, we ask you to get the tea bags.
Right.
Tea bags can get True Value offers the tea, and for Troy, or here in City Hall you can pick it up $1.25. It helps cover the service charge that it takes to extra time, and sometimes coming back later to pick up
things. A second load at your house.
But you can put a lot of things in those tea bags. I do that all the time, and you can fill those things up pretty well.
You can put a lot of leaves and sticks in the back of your truck and drive it straight out to the dye mill facility
free of charge. Yeah. So all these are services, and I know some people just they say, why do I have to pay? Well, these are little extra things that we do that many communities are not able to do, and it's another service. But there's always, like you say, the dye mill facility is a free service. You just have to transport. But if you want us to pick it up, those are ways to help us with the tea bags, the bundling. Of course, we'll still pick up the large items. We'll still pick up your regular trash. And on April 11th through the 15th, we're going to take extras. We'll take the extras. And then, of course, recycling is coming. And it's people are starting to get used to that recycling with the big recycling bins.
I love those big recycling bins.
I usually put it out about every 2 weeks because there's only two of us, and we put it in. It takes about 2 weeks to get it full, and then we take it out. So you can do any of those things. Those are just little tips that I think demonstrate our pride in our community. It also assists with the street workers. These are the same guys that you see all year round, and they do take pride in what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And together, we just make it a great community. So I ask everybody to continue to help those guys out, and in the best interest, we're making a better community.
Well, as everyone puts in the time to beautify their yards as spring's here and getting everything looking nice, festivals coming up, and all of the events we have in town.
I mean, and most of those events are free of charge, just to come out, all ages, something for all ages. We certainly are emphasizing wellness now, getting out and walking. I know I encourage people when they take a walk around their neighborhood, take a bag, pick up the loose trash, the litter that you see. Anything you do, you should take pride in that you're doing something to make your community a better place.
Well, I've always said, to walk past something that's laying on the ground, and everyone gets the thought. You look at it, and someone goes, "Oh, I can't believe someone threw that there." To continue to walk past it is kind of like the person that put it there to begin with.
Well,
it just takes a second. We've got the big belly cans downtown on like every side of the square.
Right.
So it's just, I see people do it. Just scooping something up real quick, and they'll drop it in the big belly. That's nice to see.
And I always remember what Jerry Mullins, our street foreman, says. 98% of our folks do a wonderful job maintaining their properties, maintaining the neighborhoods. picking up trash, kind of take that big civic pride. It's just, there are a few, just a very few, that may not have that same pride that most of us do have. And if we can all just help each other.
Right.
Then,
And with the winds, just the way the winds have been here this spring.
Yeah, a lot of things we can't control.
Right. It's
the
just,
weather,
it's blowing.
Yeah, the weather, brings down sticks. The weather blows trash, leaves, everything around. And, and I understand that. But I just ask everybody to continue to where they live. They live in the city of Troy. We have civic pride is citywide.
All right. Mayor, is there anything else you'd like to add in this morning?
No, but I really do appreciate Troy Community Radio. I really do. And I appreciate the way you always try to emphasize what's good about our community. And, not every community is perfect. We're not perfect, but we have an awful lot to be proud of.
Absolutely, we do. It's a beautiful town, and every street you drive down, you get to see that.
And we're going to keep improving.
That's right, and we'll keep her clean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. This has been the Mayor's Report. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN for David Denoyer on TC TV.